Hello everybody and welcome to the Whiskey Dictionary. So tonight I have kind of a surprise, at least for me anyway. I was not originally planning on doing this particular live stream, but it was requested, like a lot. After last week's live stream where I did just kind of the little battle bracket, whatever you want to call, of the different under $25 bourbons, a lot, like probably 20-30 people, said they wished I had done it blind. So here I am, doing it blind. I've got my wheel of Doom over here, and this is kind of the new upgraded Wheel of Doom. It's black. It's got the black glasses. Not quite what I would do normally for the typical Wheel of Doom with any number of different whiskeys, which is likely what I'm going to do next Wednesday, just FYI. It's been a long time since I've done a Wheel of Doom. I think that'd be kind of fun. But tonight, I am going to see how my my ratings from last week did, but more so, I don't really have a reason to care which wins. So actually, I love when I have no dog in the fight. I love when I don't care what wins. I will say that I have actually been enjoying the Fighting Cock quite a bit, which is something I now unfortunately regret saying on the internet, but I have been enjoying that bourbon quite a bit this week. And I thought that was surprising. At the end of the last week's stream, that was the one that ended up winning. Just for anybody to recap, during the first round, Fighting Cock won against Old Grandad, and then Wild Turkey won against regular Evan Williams. Jim Beam White Label won against Jesse James Bourbon, and 1783 won against Four Roses. Then the Fighting Cock won against Wild Turkey, which I think is very interesting. No, the Fighting Cock did not get discontinued. The 6-year-old version of the Fighting Cock ended up getting discontinued, which is unfortunate. And actually, my video coming out this Friday is on Fighting Cock. Some of you you might have seen there's a premiere going to be on at noontime. So I usually don't do premieres for my videos, and this one's really no different, other than I thought it'd be kind of fun to hang out with you guys at lunchtime and do a stream. I mean, not a stream, a premiere. So, if you're available at noontime on Friday, then come hang out in the premiere and chat, and it'll be good. We'll talk about Fighting Cock. Just to finish this up real quick. So, Fighting Cock went against Wild Turkey and ended up winning. Jim Beam White went against Evan Williams 1783, which was really surprising because the Jim Beam actually was the winner. Wait a minute, that's not true. I thought the final round was 1783, and either way, I'm pretty sure that's true. Fighting Cock versus Jim Beam, Fighting Cock ended up winning. So remind me, I'm almost thinking that my bracket is wrong from last week. What was in the final round? I think it was the Fighting Cock and the Evan Williams 1783, but I could be very wrong. Anyway, so let's talk about what I have. Actually, you know what? Before I do that, let's say hi to a few people in the chat, just because it's fun to do that. You guys are here, may as well. So Shashank, he's somebody that I know. He ended up being kind of the first one here. Steve A told me that he wasn't going to make it and then showed up anyway, so thank you very much for the support, Steve. IC86 is my newest moderator, who I made a moderator while I was kind of inebriated. And I don't regret it, because he ended up being a great asset to the team. But it was funny. Somebody was just like, hey, you should make IC86 a mod, and I just did. We've got Marshall here. We've got Spencer. Awesome. Nice to see you both. We've got Christopher Malloy. Universal Pokey. Travis is here. Awesome. Nice to see you, Travis. I feel like I haven't talked to you as much lately. Donald Rance is here. Jim Morris. Dave M. Who else? Red Max. Nice. Excellent. Yeah, so it was Jim Beam versus Fighting Cock. Thank you, Steve. That's funny. My memory might not be so great after last week's stream, I suppose. All right, so a couple of things. I hate YouTube. Doesn't start the live on time and then plays a long ad I can't skip. Yeah, it's part of the reason that it's good to front load with a little chat before you get into the meat of the thing. Plus, you want people to have time to get in. Not everybody's still used to my whole 8 p.m. on Wednesday live streams. Come to think of it, yeah, so next week I will be doing. Oh, I've got 2 more before I will take a week off. Excellent. So, no, that's totally fine, Travis. It's, just wanted to let you know that we've missed you. So, let me know in the chat 2 things. Number 1, the Bastards Ball was announced a couple of weeks ago. I will be going. I actually just booked my tickets yesterday to both the hotel, La Quinta, and to the airport. I'm going to be there from the 14th to the 18th, which is Thursday through Monday. I'm flying out obviously Monday, so not a whole lot to do there. But if anybody's there, we can definitely have some drinks. It'll be a good time. So there's that. Let me know in the chat if you plan on going to the Bastards Ball. And those of you that aren't going, or even the ones that are, let me know what you're drinking along with me tonight. Bonus points if it's inexpensive bourbon, or inexpensive scotch, or inexpensive anything. But I think it's good for us all to suffer's the wrong word, but we should be in solidarity. Drink some little tough stuff. All right, so same schedule for me in Austin. Nice, Steve. That'll be great. I can't wait to see you. Can anyone go? Yes, anyone can go and stay at the hotel. The Bastards Ball actually has tickets, which might be sold out at this point. I'm not sure. They kind of reduced the amount of people that are... I think they reduced the amount of people that can go, or at least somehow it's not as open as it was in previous years, which, I mean, I'm personally cool with. I think it's fun to be able to meet a lot of you in person and actually have time to talk to you. And when, if there were like 1,000 people there, I think it'd be a little tough to do that. But I believe there's 500, so anybody in the chat, feel free to correct me if that's wrong. Yeah, they sold out in a day and a half. That's true, Steve, because I remember actually they announced it, and then I was like, oh, I don't know if, I haven't heard anything from Daniel or Rex or anything. Maybe I should buy a ticket because it's still fun to go to. And then I went to buy it, and it was probably like 3 or 4 days later, and they were just gone. So I was like, oops, missed that. And lo and behold, got an email from Daniel, inviting me over. So, very happy to be able to go. I also have a lot more fun camera gear this time around, so I'm actually really excited for that. I'm going to be bringing a whole lot of stuff. All right. When is it? October 17th. It's a Sunday. Having some Buffalo Trace. Excellent. I've got unopened bottle of Buffalo Trace behind me, and it's going to stay that way for a while. It's so funny to me, like, the way that the world has progressed, where finding a bottle of Buffalo Trace in my area is very hard. It's just not common, right? So, didn't bother booking this year. We were not sure when the border is going to... Yeah, that's a good point, Donald. Glen Scotia 10, nice. Let's see, what... I'm always down for this kind of brawl, too. I would love to go to the ball, but money is kind of tight. Yeah, I hear that too, Thrifty. It's been a tough year for a lot of people. And we've all got to be able to afford our whiskeys. So, one day I'll hopefully make it to the Bastards Ball. Makers Mark Cask Strength. Not too expensive. So IC86, that is one that I have, not for any particular reason, just put off buying. I've done the regular Maker's Mark, I did the Maker's Mark 46, and I ended up doing a I don't know if I actually did a private, what are they called, private select? I don't think I actually did one of those on an actual episode, but I did one on, live stream at some point. Ended up sharing a bottle of the private select with a buddy of mine sitting in a hotel lobby. We drank a lot of that bottle just sitting in these chairs. We weren't really there for any particular reason. Well, we were at the hotel, but I don't know why we chose to just drink in the lobby instead of, in our rooms or anywhere else. We were just sitting there in 2 chairs, just passing the bottle back and forth with a glass in our hands. It was actually really fun. One of the more recent whiskey related memories I have, because that was about, I don't know, 6-7 months before COVID hit. So, all right. Let's see. Just finished a glass of Evan Williams, 1783. Nice. Might pour some more. You should definitely pour some more. All right. So I think we've got enough people going on in the stream here. I'm going to get going, and I want to make sure that I end around 9 o'clock or so. I like to do these streams right before Jason's channel. I just think 8 o'clock is a really good time for me to do these. So let's go ahead and kind of explain what I'm doing here for anybody who may have just joined late. So what I have are 8 whiskeys that I had drank on the live stream last week. After having them and doing the bracket, I had a lot of people comment that they wish I had done it blind. And so, your wish is my command. Here I am to do these blind. I have no judgment. I don't really care which one wins, which is wonderful. I'm not necessarily going to try to figure out which one is which while I'm drinking it. I'm more just going to go based off of what I would expect a person who is buying, you know, like an under $20 whiskey is going to be buying it for. Is this good? You know, is there anything that I'm noticing? Is there any good flavor profile or notes that I can pull out? And by the third one of these anyway. Oh, thanks, Travis. Appreciate that. Oh boy, did I miss you. I do have a Bushmills Black. Sorry, I'm derailing myself. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to try to not think too much. I'm just going to go based off of what I like. And that is kind of how I like to do blinds. I don't like to necessarily be like, I think it's this one or this is what I'm getting. Anyway, shut up, Bill. Get to the whiskey. So here's the fun. I've got these little colors in my extremely poor quality image here. I'll spare you the details. Anyway, you guys will be able to see the colors. What I'm going to do is I'm going to extend the chat over my video. If there's any issues with my video or my audio, I will not be able to tell because I want to try to do this as fair as humanly possible. So I've got the chat kind of extended over. I won't be able to see the colors, but you will be able to see the colors on the bottom of the glass. So you'll know what I'm drinking, but I won't. So don't tell me, you know, don't kind of spoil the fun. Okay. So I'm going to, this has obviously been rotating forever. You've been watching it. So I have no clue what is where. So I'm going to start here. Now, I am going to nose, I'm going to taste, I'm going to do whatever. And then I'm going to try to put these in an order that makes sense to me as far as which one I like the most, which one I don't like the most. And I poured a lot into each one of these glasses. That way I would have plenty to do multiple sips. So let's go ahead and give this a nose. Okay. So, immediately I'm kind of regretting this because I'm thinking that a lot of these lower, not quality, but lower tier bourbons are going to smell very similar. So I think it's going to end up a lot on the taste. This one doesn't smell overly alcoholic, so it's possible that it is a 40%er. Like, in other words, I think the only one that's really going to stick out is the Fighting Cock, based off the smell, but I could be wrong too. These have been open and air, exposed to air for a little while, so any significant alcohol vapors might have burned off. And actually, now that I smell this, I'm gonna have to compare it. It's tough. I'm getting a little bit of alcohol here. Evening, Taylor, Paul, Kenneth, Mike, Chris, other Chris. I've already said hi to you. Donner Pass, nice to see you guys. Anybody else that I miss? All right, let's have a cheers. To a bright future and getting to see many of you guys at the Bastards Ball. I'm excited. Cheers. Okay, so this one actually does taste a bit higher ABV. I might have picked the Fighting Cock right off the bat, but like I said, I'm not really going to pick. I could be totally wrong, and I don't mind looking totally wrong. I don't pretend to be, Matt from ADHD Whiskey. I'm not the greatest whiskey taster in the world, or whatever his title is. I laugh only because I don't remember what the title is, not because, honestly, that's really cool that he won an award for that stuff. I think that's really neat. All right, so far, I like this. It tastes pretty good. I do think that that's at least higher ABV. If it's not the Fighting Cock, I think it's probably like a 43%er. But we'll see. Hopefully I put water. Yes, good. All right, I've got water and I've got a little bit of backup water. All right, let's pick another one. Hey, Zopher, Vikros. All right, so this one's smelling a little bit less aggressive. Considerably less aggressive. A little tiny bit of fruit. Not like Four Roses fruit. At least I hope not. I'm actually, when I do these blind tastes, I'm so bad at them. I like to go back and rewatch my own live streams, which I don't always do unless I know there was something kind of funny or, maybe something happened. But it's fun to see how wrong I often get. I kind of like the smell on this one. It does smell a little bit lighter than what I would expect. So let's see. Hmm. The taste is kind of blasé. Very watery. My guess is this one might be the Jesse James, but I know I keep saying I'm not going to guess. I'm totally going to guess every single one, and I have no idea. For anybody joining, I'm not going to go through the whole spiel here, but just you'll be able to figure out by the letters here which one I'm having. Evan Williams, Jim Beam, Wild Turkey, Jesse James, Four Roses, Old Granddad, Fighting Cock, and Evan Williams 1783. If anybody comes into the chat asking what is going on, I'll depend on you guys to fill them in. Donner Pass, what are you drinking? Because you're speaking my language there. 20-year-old Scotch. 20-plus-year-old Scotch. So I'm wondering, yeah, I'm curious what you're drinking. This is another pretty boring nose. It's interesting. These are all very similar. I'm going to put this one, well, I have no idea. Let's go ahead and take it to taste. A little bit more body to that one, which makes me think, well, the taste, this one's not, like, incredible, but it's, well, I don't know. Could this be Wild Turkey? It's hard to say, because I only have that Wild Turkey 81. I feel like I would be able to pick the Wild Turkey 101 flavor out, and I know that they're very similar flavor profile, but the ABV is what kind of sticks out to me and what I understand. All right, so currently drinking some Blantons, because why the hell not? Donner Pass is drinking Glendronach 2018. Oh, okay, nice. I still have a little bit of that. And the Enoch 22. Oh, I'm jealous. I'm jealous. I love Enoch. I think I might have to buy the 24 for myself pretty soon. It's still local, and I could still totally get it. And it's not like crazy expensive, but I did just spend all this money on, you know, airfare and all that other stuff. So I gotta recoup some of that cash. But Google Ads pays out next Monday, so that'll be good. So Terry, whiskey glass and how to see color of whiskey. All right, so maybe you did. So this is on purpose. This is black on purpose, so I can do a proper blind tasting. That H2O note will probably keep showing up and all. Yeah, I think you're probably right, Zopher. I'm in New York City and can't find a single bottle of a Knock 24. Yeah, that's actually, well, I do not envy you buying any whiskeys in New York. I went to a few shops the last time I was there, and boy, do they raise the prices on it. I know it's New York, but man, like, the prices were, if I remember correctly, at least 150% of what they should be. Excuse me, at least in my opinion. Suntory Toki, okay. What do you think, Ma? I like the smell of this one. A little sweet, actually very sweet. One of these, I'm going to put this down so I can't see, but one of these had a mash bill of, I believe it was 75%. Let me bring up my notes real quick. Because that's kind of, you know, there's no harm in looking at something like that. Let's see, 16 notes. All right, so, nope, that's not what I wanted. I wanted tasting. All right, so we've got, okay, the Fighting Cock was 75% corn. So is the Wild Turkey. Evan Williams is 78% corn. Jim Beam is 70. Okay, so they're basically all crazy corn. Evan Williams, 1783, 75%. And Four Roses is 75%. Okay, so that's not helping whatsoever. They're all going to taste corny. Okay, well, that's good to hear, Chris. Or Christopher. I will say I like the smell of this one. But let's see how the taste is. Cheers. Jesse James is watered down trash water. I'm pretty sure that I've already had the Jesse James, but I'm not confident. All I'm hoping is that I don't. I know I said I don't have any judgment or any expectations. All I want is to not pick Jesse James for my top pick. That will be embarrassing, if nothing else. Hey, whiskey friend, nice to see you. So I think I'm going to put this one in between these two here. So in case you can't tell, the ones on the right, I'm actually going to make better use of this space. The ones on the right, I like these from like best to worst so far. All right, so I've got 4 more to taste for the first time. Looking good on time. So I'll be able to taste everything more than a few times. By the way, if anybody here has not checked out the Whiskey Friend, feel free. He's got a great channel. Very knowledgeable. The Toki I like. It's pretty flat though, but mild and sweet. You know, I tried to do a review of the Toki a while back. I have had a bottle for a while. I love the bottling. I will say I like the style of the bottle. I like that it's used like a weird linen thing to kind of wrap. But the flavor is just, I know it's meant to be in a highball, and that's exactly what it's supposed to be for. Like, they don't even advertise it as being something that you should drink neat. They're like, pour soda in this. But I always go with my whiskeys as, can it hold its own? And the Toki, I just had such a hard time getting excited about. Even writing the episode, I was just bored writing the episode. So I have a half-written Toki episode that's like 2.5 years old. Now, 2 stars. Red Max just pointed out 2 stars. Oh my gosh, is there a more aptly named whiskey? It's like, oh, this is kind of junk. 2 out of 5. That's what we should, put out there. Now, I think that beats the Jesse James putting the Colt 45 on its tag. Oh my gosh, I freaking love that. I think it's so funny. This one smells pretty good too. All right. It's kind of an aftertaste there that I'm not crazy about. And I recall one of them having a bad aftertaste. I don't think it's definitely not the 1783. It might be the Old Granddad. Or it could be just the regular Evan Williams. I'm not sure. But I'm going to put that... It's not quite my least favorite yet. But we'll see. We'll see where it goes. 2 stars, 2 out of 10. Yeah, man. It's so bad. Somebody brought a bottle of 2 Star to a party that I happened to be attending. And at the end of the night, nobody really liked it. And they just kind of handed me the bottle and were like, well, use this on your YouTube show. I was like, oh, thanks. I think I actually ended up giving the bottle away to somebody. I didn't even want to review it. 10 high. No, it's not in here. Okay, so not sure what this one is. Let me hold that up for you guys. I don't know if the angle is good enough. I don't really want to spill it, but just so you know what I'm drinking. I did say budget, you're right. There's budget and then there's cruel. The smell on this is pretty good. It's very, very sweet. Let's go ahead and try a sip. Cheers. I don't think so. No, I don't think so. Jim, that was pretty much what happened. That angle's good. All right, cool. That's good to know. Yeah, I don't know about this one. It's got this aftertaste that I'm just really not a fan of. It's not as watery as what I think I remember the Jesse James tasting like, but it's as uninteresting and boring as what I think the Jesse James tasted like. I'm going to put this second to last still, but I am going to take a quick little break, and I'm going to try my last one here. Sad whiskey dictionary face. This one's really, oh, yeah. No, that one's really not great. All right, so that one's definitely still my least favorite. So Marshall asks an interesting question, which I totally have an answer to. So he says, Bill, what's your favorite whiskey that was gifted to you, and what whiskey was your favorite to gift to somebody? Now, I love telling this story, only because it involves you guys, the audience. So when I turned 35, I'm 38 now. When I turned 35, I said to myself, this is the last year that I could probably buy a whiskey that is age stated as my birthday. So I'm like, all right, what whiskeys are available that are 35 years old? And there were several, but most of them, of course, were very expensive. I think the cheapest one I found was like $200, and that's what I was going to buy. I don't even recall what it was. But I ended up hearing from one of my patrons, who I'll just remain nameless at the moment. If he ever wants to speak up, he can feel free to comment on this video. But one of my patrons said, he messaged me and he's just like, hey, did you buy that bottle yet? I was kind of, sorry, I'm like all over the place. I mentioned this on Patreon that I was looking to do this, and I posted a few different options. I was like, hey, does anybody know anything about these? And he messaged me privately. He's like, hey, did you buy anything yet? And I said, no. He's like, let me take care of it. So, of course, first off, I'm like, holy crap, this is awesome. But I figured he was going to buy me that $200 bottle. Instead, he ends up buying me an Old Pulteney 1983, which was incredible. I've never been a fan of prunes, but I would say that the taste had a lot of characteristics that are similar of prunes in a very good way. It was almost like very sweet raisins with way more body and almost like a dark kind of plum note to it. And everything about this whiskey was wonderful. Like the way it looked like a dark looked like a pretty significant black tea. And it was just so good. And I'm sure some of that had to do with just the fact that it was a gift, and I knew it was expensive. It's a $650 bottle, but it was like, blew my mind. So of course I shared it with everybody. And to continue this story, so as I'm sharing this with everybody, and I mean, like, I probably shared this like 20 people, and I would always pour like a little taste. I was like, hey, you want to try a really good scotch? So my wife's cousin came to my house. I think it was for Thanksgiving, which means I had this bottle for, no, that can't be right, because that would have been like 6 months later, and I just can't imagine that bottle lasted that long, but maybe it did. Either way, she was over at my house for a party, and she ended up, her and her boyfriend and a couple of other people, I had them all gather kind of around me. I was like, hey, do you guys all want to try this? And I poured kind of what was the left of the bottle. I was like, this is the perfect opportunity to kill off the bottle. And so we all had quite a bit. And everybody took a sip, except for this one woman who just kicked the whole thing back. Now, thinking about a $650 bottle, the amount that I poured her was probably about $25 to $30 worth of that bottle. It was like a lot, but it was, whatever. So she just kicked that thing back, and I just looked in amazement. I was like, was it good? Like, what am I going to say? And I was just like, I'm only giving you the cheap stuff. I'm buying some Fireball. I'm going to keep it at my house just for you. So anyway, that answers the question, the best that I've ever been gifted. Now, the best one that I've ever gifted to someone would probably be Talisker Storm. And there's a reason I picked that, because obviously not a very expensive bottle. It's fine. I think, like $50, $45, somewhere in there. Maybe 60 tops. But I gifted that to my dad on his 60th birthday. And it kind of got him a little bit more into peated scotches. And now my dad likes peated scotches. He just likes scotch in general, which means that my dad always has good scotch on hand. Actually, my dad got a bottle of Macallan 6, which I haven't had any other opportunity to try. So my investment of a Talisker Storm to my father paid dividends in me getting to try some good whiskeys that I probably otherwise wouldn't have tried. So I like both of those options. Would love to hear with you guys. Has anybody received a cool bottle as a gift? You don't necessarily have to tell a long story unless you'd like to, but edition number 6. Sorry, not Macallan 6. The blue bottle, light blue bottle, like this color bottle. All right, let's go ahead and have another. Would love to get a birth year bottle, but a 1963 is way beyond my price range. Have heard if you go to Glenfarclas and are very nice, they will pour you a birth year dram of family casks. I have not heard that, Donner, but it sounds like it'd be worth the trip. Been gifted a bottle once, was Eagle Rare for Secret Santa at a work. That's perfect. I've gifted 2 bottles, New Riff, pick for a friend, and Long Branch signed by Jimmy Russell for girlfriend. That's awesome, Kenneth. Those are all great choices, actually. All right, so smell on this one, very corn forward, exactly, like they all are. Slightly more interesting on the nose here. There's maybe fruit. I'm gonna just take a wild guess that this one might be the Four Roses, but I'll wait until I taste it. So cheers. A little bit more tannic than I'm expecting, and I remember that one of them had that going on. It was almost like an herb thing going on last week. I remember talking about this. Which one had that? Maybe it's Old Granddad? I still have the bracket set up over there because I'm lazy and never took it down. But I know I have the bottles. I don't know if you guys noticed. I put them on the shelf up there just so you can kind of see what I'm having. There's something about this that I both like and dislike, to the point where I think I'm just going to put this like right in the middle. That flavor is fine, but it's not my thing. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I'm going to turn off the wheel here because I think that background noise is probably louder than I expect. Hey, Mamuka, thank you very much. Let's see. I got from my birthday in April, Enoch, 18-year-old. Oh, love it, love it, love it. I wish to everyone to receive whatever they wish for themselves in this life. Cheers. What a good message, man. I love it. And, man, the Enoch. Oh, I love the Enoch 18. I cannot bring myself to finish that bottle. It's back here somewhere. Oh, yeah. It's like pretty much, right there. I keep it within my eyesight, and I don't drink it. And I just can't bring myself to finish. It's probably got like that much left. Maybe 2 pours. So I'm going to give my brother sampler bottles of several unpeated scotches to try to interest him in scotch. Now, IC86, give me a little bit more detail. Because I mean, not that you're asking for my advice, but I'm interested in what you might be putting forward to try to convince somebody to like scotch. My opinion is that people who don't think that they like scotch have tried not heavily peated, but like a peated scotch and think that they all just taste like smoke. I kind of have this, interesting perspective because I see the comments on all of my videos, right? So I've got this wide swath of people's opinions. And I think any of you who have ever commented on my videos know that I pretty much reply to them all. I like obsess about YouTube comments, right? So when I have a big video, it actually gets to be a bit daunting, but I still like to reply to everybody. If they took the time to write, I feel like I should too. Anyway, so what I see is a lot of people saying like, scotch just tastes like smoke. And I'm just like, dude, you've never had like any good scotch. Well, that's a terrible way to say it because I like smoke. But there are so many scotches that don't taste anything like smoke. And it makes me think that maybe they've just had like a Johnny Walker Black or something like that. Some people just don't like the maltiness as well. That's true. I'm a cheap bastard. I give Buffalo Trace. That's fine, man. Trying Bullet Bourbon now. Excellent. More than acceptable. Yeah, for real. Like a bottle of Buffalo Trace is a perfectly good bottle. I love, I'm going to hold off on this one. I love the idea of gifting somebody a bottle of Buffalo Trace because it's not one that people who aren't in tune with whiskey know about, but is going to probably change their mind about some of the other bourbons that they've had. I almost said scotch. Whereas, like, you might try, I don't know, let's actually use the other example, like Bullet, right? You have a Bullet at a bar, and you're like, oh, okay. You're like, meh, maybe mix it. Maybe Maker's Mark, like, I know a lot. Maker's Mark gets hate, and I need to maybe go re-review it, because I remember liking it when I first did it, but I also did it early in the channel. But anyway, Buffalo Trace is like just a very good quality, low-priced bourbon, and giving it as a gift is really good. Now, Nocturnal has a very good point. It's 40% in Europe. So, yeah. 4 rows of single barrels is a wonderful gift. Same thing with small batch. Small batch is great too. Nice, Marshall. Glad to hear that. You should review Maker's 46s. I've actually done that a long time ago. I want to do the cast strength. Angel's Envy is another good gift. This is just a fun topic. Let's just talk about what whiskeys we've all bought each other. Love it. All right, let's go ahead and have a sip of this one. Cheers. Okay. That one's not bad. It's nothing special, but it's not bad. Which is better than a lot of these. I'm going to put this one as number 3. Now, let's move the little table out of the way here so I can really spread out. Do a little spreading. Okay. What do we got? Oh, wow, Steve, that was quick. Thank you. 1994. You might want to look for, I don't know, maybe Glendronach has a 1994. I feel like they do. It's going to be a little expensive, but you could probably get it. After all this C-word BS we have all been through, so excited that I will finally be able to meet up with Phil and Deepa on Sunday the 27th. Oh, okay. I see. Yeah, I hear you, Donner. Being able to hang out with people again is really nice. Now, it's funny. I was actually just thinking earlier today, this is totally off topic. So I'm still wearing masks whenever I go in places, despite I'm fully vaccinated, whatever. So I still wear a mask because I don't trust other people. I think there's a lot of people who are just like, it's fine, I'll just walk in. And so I really want to get a mask and I want to print it. I want to just say like, I'm vaccinated, but I don't trust you, you know? And I think that's a good idea. Like probably a really good idea. I might actually try to get that going. What's the name of it, Bill? Could you type it out? I'm sorry. What do you? Oh, somebody spell Glendronach, please. Glendronach, I think. My fingers know how to type it better than my brain does. Monkey Shoulder, Naked Grouse, Johnny Walker Green Label, and the Classic Lottie. I don't know that I've ever actually had Naked Grouse. That's one that I've just never bought. Monkey Shoulder, Green Label, Classic Lottie, all great choices. I haven't tried the Naked Grouse, so assuming it's pretty good, then I think those are all great choices. Lot number 40, cast strength. Oh, Paul, you're just flexing. I know you are. That's funny. Naked Grouse is like very easy to get near me. Did I? Oh, okay. So I'm starting back. I think, yeah. I'm starting back at the left. I'm going to see if I need to rearrange any of these. So I'm going to do kind of a lightning round here. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. I'm actually going to move this one till the last. Not as much fun starting at the worst side, but it'll get better as I go, hopefully. All right, let's try number 3. Little like ashy on it, actually. Just very, you know what? It's just very tannic. I'm not sure which one that is. You know what I thought? I thought that the 1783 would actually stick out to me a lot more than it has. I apparently just don't remember what it tastes like nearly as much as I thought I would. Now this one tastes a little higher ABV. I don't know. Don't tell me, but like, see if whatever color this is, just if you feel like you're interested in doing so, just think if it's, or go find out if it's 43%. I feel like it's higher ABV. You might even just know off the top of your head, but don't tell me in the chat. Thank you, Steve. See, it's so nice having mods in the chat. Jim and IC86 need to start pulling their weight, though. Steve's doing all the work. Steve always does all the work. Steve, I don't know. Steve's awesome. All right. So this one is, I feel like it's perfectly placed in the middle of the table because it's just like nothing. You dropped a link for Marshall. Thank you, Jim. Yeah, Smoky Shoulder is very hard to find. I've never seen a bottle of it. I think I emailed Monkey Shoulder a really long time ago to see if they wanted to send me a bottle, and I never heard back. It's interesting because sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. And I have a decent like sales pitch. Like I put all my metrics and all this stuff around there, just so it's not just like, oh, it's a random dude asking for a free bottle. And it's always funny to see the places that respond and the places that don't. Some of the bigger places than you would expect respond, and some of the smaller places that you would think would want the publicity don't respond. And it's just always struck me as very interesting. Okay, this one's going to move down a little bit. Whatever this one is moving down to 4th place. Okay. Staying well hydrated. Maybe try a VPN and buy it on Amazon UK if that would work. Super easy to get here in the UK. That's interesting. That's a really good, interesting point, Max. Although I can't imagine they would ship overseas just because you're smart enough to use a VPN. Maybe if you found like a distributor who could get it over to you. I don't know. That's interesting. I gotta tell you, this is a little nerve wracking. I wanna make sure I'm like, I don't know. Like I never trust my taste buds. I'm pretty decent at picking out flavors in a single whiskey if I'm drinking it by myself with like very little stimulus. But drinking anything on a live stream, it's just like, oh, that tastes like whiskey. So, you know, if any of you guys are feeling self-conscious about your ability to pick anything out, know that I'm right there with you. It's just... That's okay, IC86. It's fine. It's fine. Let me just go ahead and remove your mod status. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. This one's not bad. Yeah, this one's not bad. Wouldn't it be funny if it's like Wild Turkey and Fighting Cock right at the top? All right. I love the way this one smells. When I first started this, I was fairly convinced that this one was the Fighting Cock, but I'm not as convinced anymore. But the ABV feels like it is. So I'm going to look away just so I definitely don't see anything. But just so you guys know if I'm way off base or not, let's see, what time is it? Because I kind of just want to reveal here. So 8:43. I'm going to spend a few more minutes seeing if I can place these in any better way. Is there anything that I might want to consider? In Northern California, it's most gross. Yeah, exactly. Who said the Okanagan to me? Like, said it. Okay. Huh. What do I want to do? My mouth is definitely fried at this point. Like, there's no nuance anymore. The alcohol hasn't hit the brain yet, but the mouth is fried. So, the Starbucks is kind of hitting the bloodstream, though. I'm got energy. All right. I know what I want to do. The first 3, I'm going to really think hard about those because they'll be my top 3. So, hey, Nocturnal, thank you very much for joining. I know that's early, 2:43. I am rarely up till 3 o'clock. I'm usually up till 1, but I'm rarely up till 3. 3 o'clock is like a whole different world. That's a regret it in the morning time frame. Yeah, for real. Thanks, First Phil. I love the Black Glencairns. I gave away a set of 4 of these a while back. It's tough. I like to do giveaways, But the only way to make it make sense is to do it as like a raffle, because you guys do donations through like super chats or something. And I don't mind doing that, but the whole thing feels like begging to me, which I don't like. You know, if you guys want to throw a super chat, then awesome. But, you know, just watching the video and hanging out with me, that's great. Plus, if you really want to support, either becoming a member or joining the Patreon is the right way to do it. I get that a super chat's less of a commitment, but Patreon is really what helps a lot. We get to keep a huge percentage of the money that comes through Patreon. So, whereas like YouTube takes some stupid amount, like 40%, something like that. Now I'm a little stuck between these two. I feel like I might want to switch them. Not really sure. Let's see. Spencer, you totally got me, buddy. He says 7:05. I don't want to think too hard about this. 7:44. I'm going to think really hard about these three. Love it. What's my opinion on Jim Beam Double Oak? I mostly drink Irish whiskey, but I enjoy a Scotch and bourbon here and there. For me, Four Roses Small Batch or Jim Beam Double Oak are my main. I'm totally with you on the Four Roses Small Batch. The Jim Beam Double Oak I have not had in a while, and I think the last time I had it, it was part of a Manhattan, so I couldn't really tell you. Excuse me. All right. What do I want to do? I want to have another sip of both. Here's where I'm trying to think of what I'm even looking for. Or am I at the part of the night where I'm just drinking on stream? All right. Number 3 and number 4 actually might even switch places. Let's see. This one's kind of quickly moving down the stack for me. All right. I'm going to put that back where it belongs for a minute. I need some water. It's too much of the same flavor, you know. I'm still laughing a little bit about that one, Spencer. That was you totally just nailed me. Okay. I forget what it's called, like a Kentucky Chew or something like that, where you kind of go like, you know. So don't mind the smacking for a minute. If it sounds gross, then I apologize. But it is a legitimate way to taste whiskey. So. Yeah, no, I think number 3 is well placed. All right, let's just keep going. It's only going to take me like a minute to reveal the answers here, so I want to make sure that I'm happy with the order. This matters. All right, now switching to Knob Creek Rye. What is everybody's opinion about Knob Creek? Let's just go with like the regular Knob Creek or the Knob Creek Rye. There was a period of time where I was going to buy all the Knob Creeks, and I was going to do kind of like a, you know, up the stack or up the chain or whatever you want to call it. And I'm just, regular Knob Creek is fine. It's not my thing, but I get how it's other people's thing. I think I'm just not a crazy fan of the Knob Creek flavor profile, but specifically the rye, I wasn't really into. But it's been a long time since I've tried them too. I don't know. I think I might have to start going back to some things that I reviewed like really early on to see if I still believe what I used to say. Jim, shh. Okay. So it's interesting. This is the one that I keep saying is just middle of the road, like doesn't do much for or against. I was shocked at how much I liked the Bullet Rye. Yeah, I think these are well placed. All right. Let's see. Number 4, I remember what you taste like. Let's try you against number 3. Okay. Actually, this one right here is going to move up the chain a little bit. Okay. So 3 and 2. Let's try this again. We're going back down the stack. You know, Spencer, you've got a good point. I actually find Jim Beam in general, I I realize that there's similarities, but I find that I can kind of I definitely pick and choose from the Jim Beam line, whereas some of the other lines, like Heaven Hill, for example, I feel like Heaven Hill has a flavor profile, and they do little bits different across the different expressions. But Jim Beam, maybe I'm crazy. I feel like it's a little different. This is interesting. I'm gonna maybe make a decision between these two based off smell, because they both smell actually like that sweetness, corn, whatever. Now the whiskey's hitting the brain. It's funny because I hang out with my friends on Tuesday nights on Skype. We started when the pandemic started, and we usually drink very heavily while playing some sort of game. And last night was no different. We're doing Jackbox Party, which, by the way, hands up in the chat or whatever. Just say like hell yeah in the chat if you think I should invite on some random whiskey tubers and do a Jackbox Party. I think that'd be really, really fun. I think it'd be really fun, honestly. Yeah, Marshall, I'm with you. Like, I don't want to consider myself a hypocrite, but somebody called me out somewhat recently. I forget which whiskey it was, but they basically were like, oh, and you know what it was? This is what it was. Do you ever see that? I'm sure most of you guys have seen the Simpsons episode where they're at the comic book guy's shop, and they're the couple of nerds in the front seat talking to Homer. It was when he was voicing Poochie, if you remember that. And one of the guys was like, yes, in season 3, episode 21 of Itchy and Scratchy, you can see that Scratchy hits the same key on the xylophone, and yet it produces 2 distinct notes. Are you expecting me to believe this is some sort of magical xylophone? Or something like that. Like, that is how this comment came across to me. It was like, oh, like 6 years ago, you did a review on this thing, and you said you didn't really like it, but now you're saying it's good. It's like, yeah, dude, people freaking change their minds. I don't know. You guys know. I freaking love The Simpsons because it's so quotable, and most people that are older like know the reference, especially like the early, let's even say like the first 10 seasons. Like everybody knows The Simpsons. So Jackbox Party is basically trivia, but it's visually cool, and like there's a few of them that basically just end up as drawing. And everybody just draws penises. So it's fun. Yeah, totally Java, And that's exactly what I was getting across is people change their minds. All right, so I'm feeling very confident in my ranking here that at least this is how I'm feeling tonight. So now comes the time for me to see how I did. I have no opinion, as I mentioned. But what I will do, just because it's fun, is I will mention where it landed on the bracket last week. So my least favorite is orange, which is Jesse James. All right, woo! I'm feeling good about that. All right, cool. So that one was out in the first round, and for those of you who have been here the whole time, I said the only thing that I care about is that Jesse James doesn't win. So seeing it in last place, I'm already pretty happy. All right, so which one's this? This is purple. So purple is Wild Turkey. Wild Turkey 81. That's a surprise, actually. Yeah, wow, that's a real surprise. Because I really like Wild Turkey 101. But the 81 has always been a bit of a disappointment to me. I'm surprised it's so low. But I'm also fine, whatever. All right, number 3. What's this, pink? That looks like pink. 4 Roses. Wow. Is that pink? Yeah, that's pink. Wow, 4 Roses did terrible. I can't believe that. I was thinking about messaging you, suggesting that going back through your older reviews and doing them. Yeah, no, totally. It's a thing. Like, I've seen a couple of YouTubers do it recently, which this happens a lot. There's so many whiskey tubers now that I'll have a thought and I'm like, oh, that's a really good idea. And then I'll hold on to that thought for like a month because I'm lazy or I'm busy or whatever. And then somebody else does it. I'm like, fudge. Which kills me because, well, it doesn't kill me, but I have this really good idea. Like a really good idea. And those of you that are in the Patreon know that I've been teasing this for a while. And this really good idea is not going to happen until the fall. Because that's when everybody's kind of settling down. Like, it doesn't make sense to start anything during the summer. And I am just hoping against hope that nobody else does this thing. But we'll see what happens. All right. 4th place is green. 1783. Okay. Oh, actually, well, there's 2 different greens. This one's the lighter green, I'm pretty sure. So 1783. Okay. I mean, that was out in the 2nd bracket. So that's about right. And actually, it won against 4 Roses. Which... Oh, you know what? Actually, this is 4 Roses yellow label. So actually, I don't feel at all that 4 Roses getting 3rd place is bad. I think that's actually appropriate. All right, next, yellow. Jim Beam. Jim Beam White. Now, Jim Beam White ended up in the finals against Fighting Cock. I really hope I don't get demonetized. Interesting. That was on the the upper side, but still that's interesting. But knowing that I have regular Evan Williams, Old Granddad, this is going to be interesting. Let's see what got 3rd place. Blue, Old Granddad. Okay, Old Granddad got knocked out in the 1st round, but it was against Fighting Cock, so it's kind of not. That's kind of not a fair comparison. So I'm okay seeing that up so high. It would have been interesting to see how that did if it didn't go up against Fighting Cock immediately. All right, 2nd place. Dark green. Dark green is Evan Williams. Now that one was out against Wild Turkey early on. That's interesting. But I also feel like Evan Williams Black Label is a pretty solid dram. So I'm cool with that. I think that's all right. And you know what I just realized? That means Fighting Cock is the winner. And I am so happy to hear that, because it's just, I don't know, it's like poetry. Like, picking the same thing 2 weeks in a row, that's a heck of a statement. As I mentioned before, like, my flavor profile, or my flavor profile, like salty bald guy, I guess, I don't know, hints of salty bald guy. The flavor profile of Fighting Cock is something I really like. And I generally like Heaven Hill products. Despite them typically having a very similar flavor. I don't know. That's cool. I like that's number 1. All right, now I've got about, 2 minutes left? 3 minutes left? All right, salty bald guy. Hey, Whiskey Central. You got here just in time. Now, most of these have a lot in them. I don't have an extra... Yeah, all right, give me 2 seconds. I'm going to grab another glass. I'm glad I'm wearing pants. So we're going to do the Old Pulteney Glencairn. I'm going to pour a little bit of each because mixing is fun. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. For those of you who haven't checked out Whiskey Central, you should. Shayla is wonderful. She is a very real whiskey tuber, which is kind of a strange comment, but she's in it for the reviews, and she does a very good job. So, if you are interested or have not checked her out yet, I would highly suggest it. Fighting Cock and Old Granddad against each other in the 1st round was a bad idea last week. Yeah, no, I'm totally with you. No problem, Shayla. Now, the interesting thing, I remember the nose on this being more interesting last week. Actually, yeah, it gets better. So the ABV of the Fighting Cock actually helps carry this one a bit, and it makes it a little bit more interesting. So let's taste it. Pretty good. Pretty darn good. All right, so here's the deal. Join the Patreon. But aside from that, thank you guys all for joining me here tonight. Make sure to go join Jason from the Mash and Drums stream, and he's going on right after me. in about a minute. So you've got time to run to the bathroom and refill, restock, re-energize yourselves, and have a great rest of your night. So, I guess that's it. I suppose that means I should probably click the end button, huh? Thank you guys all for joining. It was actually a really fun stream tonight, so I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.